Okay, welcome to another FiddleHed fiddle lesson. As I see it, there are two ways to practice: micro practice and macro practice. Both are very useful no matter what you're trying to do, whether you're trying to learn a song for the first time, whether you're trying to improve your tone, work on variation, work on chords, anything. These two ways will help you a lot. And this first lesson is on micro practice, which is looking at details, things that are hard, how to focus on those and concentrate on those. And then the second lesson that I'll do next is on macro practice, which is looking at the whole picture, seeing the forest instead of the trees, and just being able to kind of get a sense of the whole. All right, so micro practice, working on little tiny things, kind of analytical style, but it sounds kind of like a scientific term maybe, but it's a very fun way to practice if you get into it. So I'm going to use the tune Swallowtail Jig as an example. If you don't know the tune, don't worry. I suggest watching through the video and just using the ideas that I'm presenting on whatever tune or music you're working on. It could be even classical music or anything. So here we go. I'm going to play a little bit of the tune just so you get it in your ear. So if you're learning it for the first time, micro practice is good because you will need to focus just to remember a little bit. So you don't want to try to always play this whole big thing. You want to try to play a little thing so you can focus on the first 6 notes. And that might even be too much. So you focus on the first 1 note or the first 3 notes. All right, you have to just find that point which is kind of your edge and work it. Then once you get that, add the next thing. So that there is rather hard. And so another kind of trick for doing this kind of very detailed microscopic practice is to separate out your left hand from your right hand. I learned this from studying piano, and which I'm learning right now, by the way. And basically, your bow arm is doing something kind of hard, and your fingers are too. So what we can do is say, okay, here's the thing I'm trying to practice, and then try to practice it without even doing the fingering at first. Move your hand here. Da, da. All right, see what I did? Now it's just purely a bowing exercise. That might be hard to figure out actually how to do that, but basically you could just count like, well, I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3 notes on D string, 1 on A, and then 2 back on D. And so our exercise becomes 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2. That exercise alone, you could really just ride for a long time. You could speed it up. You could slow it back down to mid-tempo, do it A to E, G to D. You could add accents. And after doing this whole kind of journey out with bowing, go back now and pluck the thing you're trying to play. Now we're really going to work the left hand. So we're separating it out. So with the left hand, what's hard is I'm going 3, 1, 1, and then I got to go 1 on A and then back to 1 on D. Now, without getting, again, this is a lesson about micro practice. Without getting too much into this tune, there's 2 ways you could practice that. You could go 3, 1, 1 on D, lift it and go to A, and then back to D, 1. Or you could keep it down. So this is the kind of thing I would explore in micro practice. I could keep the first finger planted across D and A, and it just sits there. So this is the kind of thing I can think about and work through. Which thing do I like better? Now I'll try lifting. As a beginner, this may be a little easier to do the lifting, so I'm going to stick with that. All right? And then after you've done that for a little while, you've looped on that, played it for a while, then we put the two things together. You still may need more work, but that will help a lot doing that. Well, now you can use throwaway bow to kind of bring the sound out. So often when students are working on things, like you may find your sound gets really boxy and timid. And so what you can do now is use throwaway bow to build up this phrase, note by note. So start with the first note and go down bow throwaway. And then 3-1. And now 3-1-1. And you really make the throwaway ring out. Now up to A1. Maybe that A1 didn't come out so good. So now just do the A1 throwaway. Find your sound there. Now do this. And then finish the phrase with throwaway. So doing that, bringing out your sound, is a good thing for this micro practice, because you'll hear what you're doing better if you actually sound better. Does that make sense? It just dawned on me after teaching for like 20 years that even as a beginner, if you make it sound good, you're going to remember the tune better, and you're going to enjoy it more, and you're going to get it better. All right? So, and then in addition to you doing throwaway, now that you've kind of got your sound, now we can loop that thing. All right. Very good if you've done all that. Let's see, another fun thing you can do with this phrase is to, like we did with the bowing pattern, just transpose it. This will help you get it. So start it on G3. Not only will it help you get that phrase that you're working on through micro practice, but you will get better at playing on the G string. Same thing when you do it starting on A3. Okay, let's go back to where we originally played it, D3. I'm just going to offer a few other little tips for micro practice that I think are fun. So it's only 3 notes there. But what I like to do is sometimes make a mini scale from the thing I'm working on. So a mini scale here would be 1, low 3, A1. Those are all the notes in this phrase. And now you can practice that kind of like you would a scale, just as an abstract thing going up and down. For you music nerds like me, that's an E minor triad. You don't need to know that, but I think it's kind of useful and kind of fun to know. And so practicing that will help you with the thing you're working on. All right. So then you could go through the entire tune and find spots like that and work them. And micro practice and macro practice go hand in hand, as we'll see in the next lesson, because it's through the practice of the whole thing that you'll discover these little parts that you need to work on. So stay tuned. Going to have that up soon, the macro practice lesson. And I'm really glad you made it through this one. It's not as you should congratulate yourself, really, because most people, they do these lessons, they just want to learn tunes, 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 which actually is fine. You can discover everything just through playing tunes. But if you really learn how to practice, then you could do anything, really. You could learn anything. You can learn from any other video channel, or it'll just help you tremendously. If you get nothing from FiddleHed, it's how to practice, then I think like I've done my job. So, okay, thanks again, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching the video. Excellent.